Hey, Harry Potter fans! Peter Kenneth here. Welcome to the Potter Collector channel, where we are a community of collectors. As you saw in the title of this video, I'm so excited to announce the official Potter Collector podcast, Dialogue Alley. Now, Dialogue Alley is a established podcast hosted by three of my friends, Eric, Carly, and Mel, and they are some of the originals with myself of Harry Potter book translation collectors. They started Dialogue Alley and they're on their 4th season, which talks all about Harry Potter books, collecting, and more magical things. I'm so excited about this partnership because the Potter Collector channel started to talk about Harry Potter books and collecting Harry Potter books. So it's an absolutely perfect fit that's going to bring that element of Harry Potter book collecting to you guys in a different way. We just finished recording episode 16 for season 4 and made this big announcement there. So take a look at this and you'll learn a little bit more about this new partnership.
3 up, 2 across, tap that play button 3 times and walk through the archway into Dialogue Alley. Hello and welcome to Dialogue Alley, a podcast about Harry Potter books, book translations, and all other things magical. I'm Eric.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Melanie.
And the 3 of us are Harry Potter book translation collectors. What does that mean? Well, I'll tell you. It means that we collect Harry Potter books from all over the world because the ones we grew up with just weren't enough for us and we needed more. So we have books from places such as Japan,
And France.
Greenland.
Nepal,
Iceland.
Israel.
Luxembourg.
Faroe Islands.
Everywhere.
The 3 of us collect Harry Potter books from all over the world. There's so many cool things about collecting Harry Potter books from around the world, and we're going to talk about just that on this episode. So if this is the first time that you're listening to us, welcome aboard. We are so glad to have you here. And our show, we're going to have some news today. We're going to have a main segment where we talk about some of our favorite books. And as always, we have our favorite segment. It's the translation of the show where we do a deep dive into one of the books in our collections. And we do one of my favorite things, which is Smell the Book. Let's kick this off with the news segment. This week, Season 4, Episode 15, we have some pretty big news to announce.
I'm like crying a little bit.
You're crying? Don't cry. Don't cry for me, Argentina. So our news this week is pretty big. We are actually entering into a new partnership or new collaboration with one of our great friends and fellow collectors. And you might know him because he was on the show like 2 episodes ago. And it's Peter, the Potter Collector.
Woohoo!
Peter just like sitting here quietly, like just waiting for the perfect.
So we are so excited about this, and you're probably wondering, what does this mean? Well, we will tell you what this means. So first of all, Melanie.
I think the biggest part of it is that we are becoming the Potter Collector official podcast. Like that's what we are going to be doing going forward, which is the craziest thing ever. And I think when this podcast was just an idea in all of our brains years and years and years ago, way before we even started recording, like this was something that we always wanted it to be and the direction we've always wanted to go. And so it's just such a big deal. I'm so excited about it.
I'm so excited too. It's exciting to just kind of expand the Potter Collector as a whole, and I can't think of any other podcast to do that with than Dialogue Alley. So all right, so Mel, so tell the story. So we were at Toothsome's Emporium at Universal Studios. You were going to Disney, I was going to Universal. We're like, we have to meet up, so we went for dinner. And then you just brought up the idea. And I was like, well, 100% yes.
Yeah, this was something that the 3 of us have kind of been like toying with, like what our perfect scenario would be for the longest time and how we could hit our ideal niche audience. And that's something we'll talk a little bit more about in our main segment. But what we do as translation collectors is very niche, but our community is just so rock solid and so cool. And this is like the dream come true for us, that we're going to be hitting and getting to talk about some of our favorite things with more people in this community. And we are just so excited about it. So yeah, I just like kind of brought up the idea on behalf of Eric, Carly, and myself. And Peter was just like, okay, why didn't you tell me about this sooner? I was like, I don't know. We were nervous.
No, I was actually I was honored that you guys even thought of this and thought of me and wanted to be a part of the Potter Collector, like, I was honored. I was very, very excited. We should talk to your listeners, your veteran listeners, about what to expect. Basically, nothing's going to change. Everything's going to be the same. Dialogue Alley, as you know and love, is going to be the same. I'll be on episodes here and there. I'm not going to be a permanent host, but I'll be a guest host more often, as long as you guys will have me. So other things that we talked about. So, I mean, there'll be more, which is great. Some more, so there'll be promotion on the Potter Collector channel. One of the things I'm really excited about is, one, this is going to bring a new group of listeners to you guys from the Potter Collector channel, but it's also going to bring back kind of a full circle moment of how the Potter Collector channel and the Potter Collector started, and that was books, book collecting, translation collecting, rare book collecting, and this is the perfect way to do that. So I'm excited for the people who maybe didn't know that there was even a book collecting community or market to learn more about that and learn about that through you guys, and myself, and as when I join you guys. So it's just a really cool partnership, both sides of the aisle, for you guys and for the Potter Collector as a whole. So thank you for allowing this to happen.
We're so excited. And I think we should also add that things about Dialogue Alley that have been going on since, I don't know, for the past few years that we've established this podcast are still going to continue. So our Patreon is still the same, our Discord is still the same, but something that's going to be added is there's going to be a tab for Dialogue Alley on the Potter Collector Discord, which I think is so cool. So if you have direct questions for the three of us, you can have access to it there. Or you can continue supporting us on Patreon, and then you can have access to our specific Discord. You're right, Peter. Like, the full circle moment, the bringing everything together moment is just something I'm so excited for. I can't wait to see it all pieced together.
And another thing is so you get, Instagram updates when a new episode is posted from Eric and Carly and Mel, and the Dialogue Alley Instagram. But now you're going to get one more notification if you're following the Potter Collector channel on Instagram. So you have no excuse to not listen to new episodes.
Unless you look at the topic and you're like, nah, which you're allowed to do also. But I think personally, we talk about very enjoyable things on a every other week basis.
I would
I
agree.
agree.
And one other thing I think that is really exciting about this new collaboration is that I know that, Peter, you do a lot of videos now that are not specifically about book collecting. You have in the past, but you have so much more to offer on your channel. You talk about merchandise, you talk about traveling, you talk about wands, you talk about going on a cruise with your brothers, and remodeling your house. So I think what a really an exciting part for me as a collector, not only as a host of the podcast, but as a collector, this was something that I would have wanted, like constant news updates every other week about kind of what's new in the collecting community, or what translations are new, or what translations are getting harder to find. We have a really, really great team of people in our Discord, in our community, that are on top of things from all over the world, that bring things up to us, and we'd like to make sure that that news gets shared to people that care about it. So I think that's a really cool way to stay current in the collecting market.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Discord. So if anyone is watching this video on the Potter Collector channel, or is listening and you're directly from the Potter Collector channel and you're new to Dialogue Alley, Dialogue Alley also has a Discord. You can check the description down below in the video. Obviously, if you're listening to the podcast, you can't check the description. Actually, it's probably in your description down below.
We usually do put it in our description. For the
So
podcast
there you go.
episodes.
You can find the Dialogue Alley Discord in the description down below. And again, as I think, Mel, you were mentioning that you've got a great community of people on that Discord who just collect Harry Potter books, and it's also a good place to throw out I'm looking for this particular book, or if you have questions, great place for that. And then there will, again, as Mel mentioned, there will be a tab for Dialogue Alley on the Potter Collector Discord, so you can also reach Eric, Mel, and Carly and myself via that tab.
And something about our Discord that's really cool is that frequently people will sell translations that they have. So Carly, I know that you are selling quite a few things right now. You don't have to get everything, but there are lots of really, really cool items that you can find. So Carly, what are you selling off here?
I have a few English, US and UK English Harry Potter books for sale, and they're marked by like English versus translation, so you can find them. And I have a lot of translations and more to come.
Good place
And that's
to get
all
started.
theprettybooks.net, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Cool.
As Eric mentioned, the who we are and what we do, that's what it usually says in our notes in every single episode is us describing who we are and what we do. So
Uh-huh.
we're actually going to like talk a little bit about that for our main segment today. I think the first thing that we should just address very like briefly is just something I mentioned before is just how niche our community is. Um, that being said, the nicheness of our community used to be like the 4 people that are talking on this podcast. And then there were maybe like 4 or 5 other collectors that were part of this community that we know of. There was Sean from Potterglot, there's Sean McAllister. We have a friend Xander who was collecting with us from the very beginning as well.
Carolina from Poland.
We just knew of people at that time, but in that same breath, it was such a tiny group of us, and getting books at that point was so hard because we didn't have this huge community of people that were all doing this thing, and we're all doing it together now. We have so many resources now that I remember just sitting there on my computer. I'm like, okay, I'm going to dedicate the next hour to looking for books. I'm going to open up Google Chrome. I am going to have Google Translate going. I'm going to be going to these foreign websites, and I'm going to be hopefully spending my money on books that are hopefully going to show up to my house. And that was how a great chunk of my collection showed up. Well, this is like a pretty good question, is why did everyone decide to start collecting specifically like Harry Potter translations?
So for me, it started, I went into a Borders bookstore. So there you have it. That is Dialogue Alley, the new official Potter Collector podcast. As I mentioned, I will be on there more frequently, talking about Harry Potter books and translations, but every new episode that comes out, I would encourage you guys to listen to, whether you are a veteran collector or a new collector. There's so much knowledge in those 3 brains that they pour out in each episode. So if you're a new Harry Potter book collector and didn't know about Dialogue Alley, this is going to be a great resource for you to learn during your collection journey. And for any Dialogue Alley veteran listeners, I just want to say one more time, nothing's going to change. Mel, Eric, and Carly still have complete creative control. I'm not coming in and, changing things up or anything. This is just a great partnership, and I'm so excited to add kind of another book element to the Potter Collector channel. So you guys got a little taste. There's so much more that we talked about, so whether you're driving in your car, flying on an airplane, or just sitting on your couch somewhere, I hope that you guys will join us and listen to our conversation about Harry Potter books. If you would like to listen to the official Potter Collector podcast, Dialogue Alley, check the description down below for links to show you where you can find that podcast. You'll also find a link to the official Dialogue Alley Discord page, as well as social media accounts for Eric, Mel, and Carly. If you have any questions about this partnership, please leave them in the comment down below. And if you have any suggestions on what you would like the Dialogue Alley hosts to talk about, leave those in the comments down below. We would love to hear them. I'm so excited to see where this partnership is going to bring both Dialogue Alley and the Potter Collector channel, but most importantly, you, the collector. I can't wait to see where your collecting journey goes and how this new partnership may help you in that journey. Now it's time to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, keep collecting. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new here, welcome. We cover all things Harry Potter on the Potter Collector channel, like books, merchandise reviews, unboxings, Wizarding World of Harry Potter videos, and more. If you would like to subscribe, you can click right here. You can also check out a previously posted video right around here. If you have any questions about Harry Potter, feel free to leave a comment down below. I am happy to help. But for now, I must go. We'll see you next time.
Whoa, where'd he go?